I've never really been a fan of my motorised bootlid, but recently I found a way to make it a bit more bearable. Now, one thing that's always annoyed me is the fact that I can't open it from the inside. For example, the key in the ignition, it opened. So what's slightly annoying is the fact that you can only open the boot from the outside or with a key fob. And if the car is running like it is now, it won't open from the inside. Now, by chance, I stumbled across a 42-second video showing how you can modify this bank of switches here to have an internal boot release. It's from a channel called Remis PSA. It's a very small little channel, but it's got lots of C5 related content, so go and show some love and check it out. So what the mod consists of is removing this bank here and replacing it with switches from a Peugeot 508. Can you see that? It's got a fuel cap release, which we don't have on our Citroen C5 X7, and an internal boot release, again something that did not come with the C5 X7, but there is a way of making this work. First off, you've got to remove the bank of switches on your car, and I did that, and I did discover something rather dismaying. So there are a couple of ways to remove this. One, you can remove this whole fascia here and going through the back and push it out, which is what I did the first time, but you don't have to. You can just get a tool here and remove it like so. There, see? Now, in Mr. Remis PSA's video, he removes this, and there's a wiring loom, there's a connector in the back that you just have to plug into. In my case, there is no connector because these are just blanking plugs. So yeah, I'm a bit stuffed, but either way, I'm going to try to connect a wire from the guts of the car to here. But we're going to have to modify this anyway, so I'm going to take this upstairs now. Now, I bought this online from a Spanish provider for 20 odd euros. You can get it cheaper from Estonia or Latvia. Those are great countries for used Citroen C5 X7 parts, but for me it's not so good because they're very far away, and the postage would have been 18 euros. So this is a much better deal because it only cost me like 22, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I got my switch from a Peugeot 508 SW, as you can see here. Don't need this anymore. Snap that off, and as you can see, they're more or less exactly identical in terms of format. Thank goodness for PSA Peugeot Citroen cross-platform cost cutting. That's good, at least for me. Don't know which side is best. Yeah, it's coming off. There, that's that done. And if I wanted to, I could just slot this in. That's brilliant. But I want to get rid of this button. I don't know if I can replace it directly with the blanking plug. I don't care if this is like a fake button you press and nothing happens, but I don't want it to have the fuel cap symbol on it. So I'm going to get it out. Yeah, that was easy. Do the same here. Hopefully this is all showing up on camera. Yep, perfect. So slot this back in, like so. There. It doesn't go back though. Yes, I can see why. See that? This has a little thing here and below, so I can just break that off if I ever want to make this something that actually functions. Interesting. Snap. Beautiful. Now, in the car there was no loom, so what I did, I thought I've got to try to connect this somehow, and if you see in the video, you need to connect a wire to the BSI plug. So maybe if I can get like a connector like this. Don't know if you can see that. That's one of those pin female things, and you can just slot it on like so. So if I can get one of these with a wire that's long enough, I can connect to the back of this. So where can you get these connectors? Now, I looked online, couldn't really find them. Then I remembered I had this from when I owned my Mazda 6. Yeah, it's a long story. I thought these were broken, but it turns out no, they're just very badly built. And they've been sitting here ever since I owned a Mazda. Waiting for better days. I've put them online for sale and no one's touched them, probably because they can buy an entire steering wheel with these already included. So I'm just going to use them. Sod it. By the way, I've already pulled this one out. It's from here. So I'm just going to pull the other ones out and then we're going to make some wires. There's one. Perfect. There you go. I'm going to keep this for next time. Next, I'm going to need some, wire. This is a bit thick, but I think it'll do. But anyway, now you're going to see my amazing soldering skills. It's not pretty, but I have 2 wires prepared. This I'm going to strip when I get there because this is probably too long, but we'll see. Apologies for the terrible lighting, but it's pouring outside, so I have to work in my garage, and hence the lighting is, well, not brilliant, but it's the best I can do. Second, big fat caveat, if you're unsure about this whole thing, then don't go ahead. I'm not 100% sure, but then again, I think I have an inkling that this might go well. The video where I sourced the idea from, the guy has an R&EG radio, which is the same radio that this car came with. And that places it within a narrow margin of time when cars, when C5s were shipped with that radio, because then it was replaced by the R&EG2 and other radios. Doesn't matter. There's a good chance that the hardware is the same as that car, and it works well in that case. Thing is though, I also got a bollocking on the French car forum. Now on the French car forum, there's Mark, or Give Me a Break, and he's like the Odin of C5s. Because he's all-seeing, all-knowing, and we all go to him for wisdom. And he said, don't go mucking around. You're experimenting with something, the harness might not be the same, the BSI might be different, etc. It is a risk, and Mark is 100% right. This is a risk. I went and looked on other posts, and funnily enough, he actually told another guy who was doing the same modification that I'm doing, go right ahead. It also led me to a blog post from a Russian site on how to do this. Big community of C5 owners, Russians it would seem, and in Eastern Europe in fact. And I don't know, because the hardware seems to be the same, I'm going to go for it anyway, because I know that if I don't go for it, it will eat at me. It's like the headliner. That went horribly wrong, and I wish I'd never done it. But if I'd never done it, I wouldn't know how hard it was. So, I don't know. I'm going to risk it, and hopefully, if you're watching this, it's probably because it went well, because I'm not sure if I'm going to publish it if it goes horribly wrong. So this is the best I've got for lighting. It's not going well. And I'm going to try to thread that tube, you see that tube, through the dashboard. Because it's going to have to go through from this hole to the fuse box on one side. Where's the fuse box? There it is. And down to the kick panel to be grounded. Kick panel is down there. Sorry about the terrible filming, it's the best I can do. But yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can thread that through. Here's a tip for threading things through the dashboard. Shine a light. For example, here I'm shining it beneath the radio, and then look here, and you can see more or less where the light shines through. Then thread the wires through there. That's a tip. That's what I'm doing now. And I managed to thread the wires through, but I can't get to the footwell, to that area, so the radios are going to have to come out, which is a big fat pain in the backside, because this radio is then very hard to put back in. Oh yeah, out you come baby, there you go. Okay, success. From there to there, in through there, and out down there. Also there, can you see that? That screw, that's my earth point. Okay, so that one's done up. Now this has to be threaded through here to the fuse box. Fuse box has to come out first. One. And then this bit. They're very easy to come out, and this is where you put the tweezers and the spare fuses away. I don't know this, and I read the manual. It wasn't very apparent in the manual, so there you go. I'm putting a glove on. Hang on, it's the wrong way around. For the next part I'm putting a glove on, see? Now why is that? Because the last time that I put my hand inside the fuse box during a dry run, I completely ruined the back of my hand. It scratched all over the place, things pricked it, and it looked awful. So I've put this glove on so I still have, you know, the dexterity of my naked fingers, but at least it offers some protection. So you need to remove some of the existing connectors. There we are, there's one. I don't know, is that blue plug even visible? That blue plug is what has to come out. Okay, so I want this connector here that ends up here, but for that I have to remove this sort of drawer, this blue part. There you go. Oh, there we are. It's the top one, which means it's this red one that I have to splice into. Now is a moment of truth. I'm going to cut, where is it, this red wire and connect this blue one, splice them together. I'm going to connect them up using this. Yes, a connector, but don't worry, don't think this is a cowboy solution. I am going to solder it, but later. I just don't have the conditions to do it in. I'm working in appalling conditions. Don't mean to complain, but it's true. Okay, here goes. 3, 2, 1. Snip. It's snipped. No going back. There we go. Okay, this is a temporary solution anyway. Okay, that's back in place. Engine's on. It's been connected. Now this is working. No sign of any bad things going on. So that's the first part. Now I'm going to hook up these wires. Fingers crossed. Turn the car off first. So these are the pins. The bottom pin, because there's only one, that's for the ground wire. Ground, which is brown in this case. And the top left pin connects to the blue BSI plug. Now there's also a pin for illumination, but that's just way too much for me. So let's add it up. Okay. It's connected. If this works, it's now. Can you hear that? It worked. Turn the car on. No errors, no nothing. Oh God. I think it's a success. Calm down my heart, my beating heart. Okay, I'm going to button everything up and then we're going to do this again. Everything's all buttoned up, so we're going to test it again. Crap. Oh, There we are, and stop and close. Oh, that's perfect. Good thing it doesn't open when the car's locked, so it won't accidentally open on the motorway. But this is very convenient. This really does make the whole motorised boot lid thing a lot more easy to live with, because it doesn't mean I have to get out and press the button on the boot lid to close it every time, because that's the only way of closing it. Now I can close it from inside the car. To open it's easy. You can open it remotely as well, but not close it remotely. So this is definitely good. And also, let me just say, Mark, or give me a break if you're watching this, I am sorry I didn't follow your advice, but this is the exception that confirms the rule. Everyone, you should respect Mark's advice. He knows what he's talking about, and it could have gone horribly wrong this time. It didn't, thankfully, but either way, I am very grateful for his input. My kids are going to love it, especially my youngest, but she has some difficulty reaching that red button on the boot lid to close the boot lid when I drop them off at school, so she won't have to stretch anymore. But this is brilliant. Now, one thing that's just missing is it's not illuminated. I think I've already mentioned that. I don't know, do I have to connect and splice the ground wire and connect it to the pin with the illumination? If anyone can clear that up, I'd be very grateful. But it's done. I'm very happy with the... it's a mod that works, basically, so that's why I'm so happy. Usually mods with me end up in tears. I'm going to wrap this up because I keep being forced out of where I am. It turns out I was parked in front of a gate, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, thanks very much for watching if you made it this far. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, even if you're not going to mod the car in the way that I did. Maybe you found the video at least mildly entertaining. If you want to see another video of me modding the car, in this case replacing the old radio with an Android unit, then click on the video above. And if you want to see me make a complete hash of replacing the headliner, then click on the video below. Thanks very much once again, hope to see you in a future video, and I bid you all farewell.